this beer.
But we're not. But we are live. And so, welcome to another game of Suburban Apples. It is early December, and we start this scene outside of Portsmouth International Airport, or rather, inside, as Marcia finally, after a few weeks away in a tropical paradise with human Todd, is finally returning back towards Brigand Fowl, Santa Lapius, and the mischief there within. And as she disembarks her plane, let us introduce our characters for the day.
Okay. So Marcia, the red cap, who's only really nominally a red cap, because she's just too human. She is looking actually shockingly tan for a redhead. Like, she really got some good sun. And she's in a pair of really big sunglasses that take up like more than half her face. And she has a purse full of tiny airplane bottles of liquor. Some of them are full, some of them are empty. She's just sort of popping them like Tic Tacs, the whole thing. And she stumbles off. She is in still kind of like a beachy dress, but with like a winter coat on top of it. Like, she sort of forgot that she was coming back a little bit almost. And she disembarks and gives a sort of blink around the terminal and is just like, home. Fuck. And just starts sashaying her way down from the gangplank, if you will.
Probably not necessarily at her exit gate, because he wouldn't know where she's coming out of. And besides, he's actually completely forgot the reason why he was actually even coming into the airport anyway. So, is Patrick, who at the moment has ingratiated himself along with a few children who are waiting for their flight to arrive, in which they are doing like the rapid fire sort of like one of those children games, like, you know,
Patty cake.
Like patty cake, but not necessarily that. It's like, you know, whatever the advanced ones, like clap up, clap down, whatever, you know, kind of thing.
Bobo, say out and totten.
Yeah, that you know, that exactly. So, and you know, even if it's like a new game he hasn't like played before and stuff like that, he just seems to naturally get it, and just, you know, and because he's so damn fucking quick, he's usually the best at these kind of games. But he's been here in the airport for the last few days. He hasn't really kept track of time. I mean, there's been so much stuff going on. There's people active all the time, so it's like hard for him to like to know when, like, is it night, is it day? It doesn't really fucking matter.
Like Vegas.
Although, yeah. But every so often he'll manage to find himself in a nice little corner where to just hide away, and while the chefs are cooking and stuff like that in different places, he's stealing like different bowls of food and stuff like that. And if he can't get like a bowl of food, lots of people aren't really paying too much attention to their wallets. So he's got a new interconnection. He's even like taken out some bills and found that they're like foreign currency and just sort of tossed them.
I'm so proud right now.
So he's currently doing his little game for a moment, and it's at that point where he's it sort of breaks him out from his. And he just sort of shakes his head for a moment. The kids are probably staring at him because they don't know what it is. And he finally turns and goes, "What?" And then he sees Marcia! Marcia! He says, he starts running. He doesn't even say goodbye to the other kids. He just starts running off.
So Marcia hears her name. And then she hears the sound of a bell. And she just whips her big sunglasses off of her face and turns, and she's like scowling, but her eyes are like really bloodshot. And she goes and like looks in her purse at like all the liquor bottles for a second, and then like squints and just says, "What are you doing at the? Are you here?" Hello, Patrick. It's good to see you. Are you here by yourself?
Of course I am. Well, not by myself. I got Bella with me.
Oh, yes. Is that a... You know what? It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. And of course, he looks very much like himself, you know, the leaves and everything like that, and that bright, winning smile as always. But of course, something new is on his hip. A giant, probably at first drunken stuff, but, you know, it's a sword. And it's not in a sheath or anything, so the blade is gold. Completely golden as he's standing there staring up at her.
And airport security is apparently oblivious in Portsmouth International. It's good.
Well, hey, the Pixie gift has been helping him quite a bit, but even then.
Marcia blinks at it, and she like opens her mouth again, and then she just says, "I'm not going to ask about that," out loud. And she says, "Would you like a ride back to my home or wherever? I guess."
Sure.
Right.
I went there like he sort of thinks for a moment. How long ago was it since I went there? Has it really been 2 weeks? Wow, time's flown.
So how long have you been? Did you know when my flight was? I don't know how you would, but I mean, kids have cell phones these days, I guess, and I don't really know what else you can do with those. So.
Oh, I didn't even know if you were on a flight or not. I just came to the airport because I thought that'd be where you go.
Well, you weren't wrong. So she high fives him. Good detective work.
Yeah.
Now let's get out of here before either of us gets arrested.
Cool. They'll have to catch me first.
Yes, I rather think they'll have less trouble catching me. I'm not quite as quick-witted as you are. And she hustles him through. She has like a carry-on suitcase. She as they're walking out, like they're going past the baggage claim, and she kind of makes the comment of like she'll just have somebody pick her luggage up later. Like she's not going to worry about it. And they get to the exterior of, is it Portsmouth International? Is that what it's called? Portsmouth International. I don't know how much of the city we can see from there.
Not much, because it's an airport and there's all the pillars and stuff. But yeah, there's
into her oversized SUV.
Yes. As you drive back towards home, you will have to pass through San Alapias, and as you do, you notice pretty quickly that the landscape has changed. Most of the buildings are still intact, but gone is this one prominent building, one that you've become very familiar with over the past few months. And there's something about the city now that just feels colder, even to the too human Marcia. There's something missing. It is palpable. It is lacking. And if you roll perception kenning.
Oh shit, I gotta open my character sheet.
Aha!
I knew I was forgetting something. Okay, hold on 1 second. Marcia.
Wow, Patrick. Apparently he's very in tune with the banality of this fucking place.
Perception. Where's my Kenny?
Jesus.
4 successes if it's diff 6.
Discord.
I mean, 4 dice are eventually going to get 4 successes at some point or another, I guess.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
All right.
Marcia has sobered up.
Well, it is a very sobering thing that you've noticed. The air here is thicker. It weighs upon your fairy soul. Just the banality of this place is suddenly very present, and whatever it was that was keeping it at bay is gone. You feel almost recessed as far as your face side goes as you pass by the debris that's being cleaned up of well, what was once the mural and is now a pile of broken bricks and destroyed stuffed animals.
As they're coming down the street where that's happened, before she notices the building that's missing, Marcia's got like one hand on the, the wheel of the escalator or whatever, and like one, she's like got slung over the armrest, and she just says, "Is it just me, or does this place feel like more of a bummer than usual?" And then she sees the wreckage, and she says, "Oh, city council finally tore it down."
And Patrick starts like, trying to open the door, but it's childproof locks, luckily. So he's just like Allison, Agnes, whoever you are, pull over.
What? Okay. Marcia pulls over and unlocks the door.
Yeah, and Patrick goes like scooting out, and the bell goes after him, but it's like a lot fainter, like it's moving very sluggishly through this, and even her bright light is just dim in this place as Patrick goes rushing over to the unfortunately the group of people, and maybe it's the Pisky ability that saves him from going, "Kid, you can't be here," because he manages to slip by into there, and it's like he's digging through the rubble. He just seems like he belongs there. Just another worker. Don't know.
They get him shorter and shorter these days.
He's got his own pry bar. Look at him.
I don't know.
Used to be my granddad.
If the union okays it, who am I to judge?
My granddad was working at half that age. He's fine. I imagine they throw their arms around each other and laugh like they're brothers, like a car talk. Marcia kind of follows, and she's in a pair of like I said, she's like still kind of dressed for the beach for the most part. Like she's in like rattan wedge heels, and some sort of breezy dress with just a heavy winter coat on top of it. She clearly wasn't anticipating like being out walking around in this weather. Mm-hmm. But she picks her way gamely after him, and she's like, sort of, hello. He loves construction. As she like follows.
They're like, who is she talking about?
They're lucky we're on break.
What are you doing?
And as Patrick's just like running tossing rocks aside, and he's picking up he's picking up one like stuffed bear or something like that, and tosses it aside, and he's just like, Allison, she lived here, or Agnes, I don't know. She was Allison before, and then she became Agnes, but she lived here.
Wait. Okay, hold on.
You've been here. OOC, you've been here.
Yes. I'm trying to remember what name belongs to who.
Agnes is her fairy name.
Okay.
Allison is her mortal name.
That's the one that I knew her as.
Yes.
Okay.
She is the one that was hurling rocks.
Yes. The queen one.
Yes.
Death to the English.
Yes. Okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That interesting little girl with the rocks.
Mm-hmm. And he says as he's like tossing some pieces and stuff, and he grabs a rock and he's about to throw it aside, but then he sort of like on that mention he's actually he actually like goes to try to put it in a bag, but he can't really fit this big of a rock there, so he just drops it. It breaks in half, manages to put a bit of it into his pocket.
One of the
Marcia.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you
do it. I was saying, Marcia kind of like shifts uncomfortably, and she like looks at the rubble, and she says, "She's not still here, is she?"
Oh no!
Oh my god!
One of the workers like meanders over. He's got a cigarette in his mouth. Like, hey, you guys talking about the The kid that they took away before we could get started on this stuff.
Probably. Small, angry?
Little girl. Yeah. People over at the Ronald Reagan Children's What's It? They came and got her.
Oh, dear. Thank you for your information. It is so rare to find someone who's just helpful without having to be asked. This is me being sincere. I know it doesn't sound like it, but thank you. What was your name, sir?
Derek.
Thank you, Derek.
Yeah. Anyways, you may want to get out of here. We gotta start starting up the machines again here in a second.
Very grateful. She goes like she's like gonna shake his hand for a second, and then she kind of continues.
Wow.
She's not a nice person. She looks at Patrick and says, perhaps we could go visit your friend at this Ronald McDonald house.
He just frowns, and there's like a very serious look on his face. Like the only way that serious look on children's faces that it can happen, he just goes, "That place steals your magic."
So it's a rescue mission then.
Got her
Why
out.
am I not surprised? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Got her out the first time by myself.
Of course you did. The first time? Oh, you told me about that. I think.
It was. You also saw the comet in the sky, so that was the big glamour comet in the sky. Who else could have done that?
So they will be ready for you this time. So maybe not a rescue mission. Maybe we just drown our feelings in pie, the way that my mother taught me, and move on?
Or we get allies! We get an army!
Do you know enough? You probably actually could make enough friends to gather an army. I don't know that I would have room for them all.
Yeah, no, we could talk to Jamie and kill a Mike. We could talk to Ted and all the rest of his friends. They could probably help us too.
That's actually not an unreasonable idea. The second thing, not the first thing. They're sweet, but not as much use as I hope.
But why didn't they stop? He just sort of gives a huff and goes, "No, you're right. Adults are stupid." Sorry.
By and large, yes. For example, I seem to have adopted a child.
Really? Who?
You know, that's a great question. I honestly couldn't answer on any given day. Talking to Ted may not be a terrible tactic. Do you know the last time you were at this Ronald whatever place, they steal your magic, you mentioned.
Hmm?
Do you know why they do? Did you see them doing anything with it? Was it just for funsies?
He just sort of frowns and he shakes his head and he goes, "They were giving pills to kids and telling them not to move in their chairs."
I remember those days.
Wow! Wow!
I was an excitable child. All right.
Oh, banality.
Listen, Marcia's got a backstory. She's too human for a reason. Presumably. I don't know what that is. I'm making it up as I go.
Sure.
It's devastating what it is.
But he sort of looks at her funny when he says that. It's like, but they didn't steal your magic.
Oh, no, not all of it.
Well, they're trying to steal theirs.
Well...
She couldn't even wake up.
That doesn't seem very fair, does it? Grown adults against children, using medicine as their weapon? Not very sportsmanlike.
No, it's not.
If they don't fight fair, we don't have to fight fair either. and that could work in our favor.
Hmm.
I think I must still be a little drunk to even be considering this, but
well, let's go talk to Ted, see what him and the rest of them can do.
He was a very hospitable little lizard last time we were there.
He's a dragon.
Is this some sort of parallelogram and square situation? Not all lizards are dragons, but all dragons are lizards?
Well, he said he's a dragon, so he's a dragon.
That's true. You should always call someone what they've asked you to call them. All right. Let's go talk to Ted, but first, I need something hot that I can put the rest of this whiskey in. Hot chocolate on the way.
Oh, you shouldn't drink whiskey on a cold day.
Why?
Oh, it's because you won't realize you're cold.
Oh, I'm not feeling anything right now, so we are past that point. She gestures to her sundress, and she's just like, let's go.
He sort of goes, he's like, Uncle Boris actually used to drink a lot during the winter. Almost caught him in a snowdrift one time.
Uncle Boris?
Oh, he wasn't really my uncle. We just called him that. He was a clown.
Like an actual clown, or
yeah.
Who's we?
Hmm?
You said we used to call him your uncle. We used to call him my uncle, but who is we? Is it just you and Bella?
Oh no! This was before Bella. Actually, it was my parents did. Your
parents? Hold on. Wait a second. Do you remember who your parents are?
Mm-hmm. Of course I do.
Okay. This is news. Very exciting news for some of us.
Why?
Because you didn't last time I talked to you, I don't think, and that is it is.
No, I've always known.
Oh, I guess I haven't been very. I've been a little remiss in my interrogation then.
It's the whiskey.
Probably. Probably. I would say also that a couple of weeks away with your husband is just very good time. All right. Let's not dwell on the past, because otherwise I'm going to let all of this, and she kind of gestures to the like oppressive feeling in the sort of, dirty gray sky and all the snow and darkness and the rubble is just going to drive me even crazier. So,
okay, let's go find Ted.
Okay, so to the circular forest you go.
To the circular forest we go, and I heard that sigh, Carol.
No.
What? Marcia for sure. She either stops to grab something to drink, or she sorry, there's a bug on my ceiling. Or she.
It's not a wasp. So.
No, it's some kind of like water beetle or something. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
She either stops to get something hot to drink, or she swings by her house and throws on like a pair of flannel-lined sweatpants underneath her sundress. Just like still like not, and like some Uggs, like still like not a very practical outside outfit, but just something warmer. And like she had a beautiful couple weeks vacation where everything was normal and she got to be with her husband and it was all fine and she didn't have to think about any of this. And then the minute she stepped off the plane, she's back in it. So she's just like, whatever. All right, fine. Let's do it. Sure.
Let's do it live.
Yes.
And throughout the car ride on the way there and on the way to the circle, Patrick's like, oh yeah, I finally found out my other name. Do you want to guess?
You have another name?
Yeah.
What kind
Go
of
on,
name?
guess.
Is it like a first name, or is it a last name, or a middle name, or a nickname?
Oh, it's a very well-known name.
Jeff.
Nope. Guess again.
Could it possibly be Paul Cobblepot.
Nope, nope. That's funny though.
You know, I think you're just gonna have to tell me. I don't think that I.
No, no. Agnes did that on me. I'm not falling for it again.
She did she?
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps Professor Thaddeus Lecomte.
Nope, 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 nope. Guess again.
David Dishwater.
Nope.
Theodore Teakettle. Am I getting closer?
Not at all.
Sam Skillett.
I'll give you a hint.
I would love a hint.
I've been in movies.
Brad Pitt.
Nope. Guess again.
She knows what it is. She's just fucking.
I mean, the moment you said Sam Skillet, I was like, girl.
Could it be? Perhaps Peter Papadopoulos.
Nope, 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 nope.
Well, I'm certain I don't know. I can't think of any other sort of excitable little boy warriors who run around talking to glowing lights. Wait a minute.
A vision. Sublime vision. Lightning just struck my brain.
Oh my god, I just forgot his name. I'm just kidding. James Riley. No. It is Peter, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. But there's more.
Yes. One of my favorite Greek deities.
Cottontail.
Athena. No. Marcia, like, grins at him, and she's like been teasing him, but she's been, like, smiling the whole time. Like, she's not trying to be an asshole.
Yeah.
And she holds a hand out, like, very,
yeah,
and says, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Pan."
Peter Pan, at your service. Although you can still keep calling me Patrick. I think that's who I am this time around.
Excellent. Are you going to shake?
She does. Like, she does shake. He does shake.
Yeah. So they I imagine it's one of those like boom boom. Yep. You know what I mean? Like the very. So if you're Peter Pan, what does that make the rest of us? Because I am certainly too old to be a lost boy, and I'm absolutely not Wendy. Oh, we'll have to figure that out as we go. And she kind of peels out of her parking space and
he just sort of shrugs. Is like, I don't know what happened to Wendy.
Another mystery for us to solve once we solve the one that's in front of us now.
Mm-hmm.
Never a dull moment for you, huh?
No. And he sort of shrouds. But I know who Hook is.
Who's Hook?
And he sort of, there's a very serious look. Evil.
Well, clearly.
He's got blue eyes. Almost purple. I like flowers.
Blue eyes. Oh, it's not a beetle, it's a spider.
Oh.
It's still fine. Probably. Why is it moving closer to me? Anyway,
they're closer to purple, but they like flowers.
Do I know anyone that matches this description?
He hasn't Carol, he does know what Hook looks like, so he's going to describe Hook. I don't know him.
Yes, he's got forget-me-not blue eyes, dark hair, in curls that from far away look like candles. He has an iron hook.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, out of character realization. Oh no. Okay. Sorry. I have a bad feeling about this. Please continue.
I'm sure it's fine. It's fine like Ted. Ted's fine.
Ted's fine. Yeah. Ted's fine, Carol. We're going to see how fine he is sooner than later as we're having this talk about Hook. But yeah, so Patrick describes Hook, this thing, you know, forget me not, blue eyes, those, you know, dark hair curled like candles, skin pasty. And as they're going, he's like, he's not like us.
No, I would guess not with the iron hook. Well, the good news is, if I remember correctly from all of the fables, Hook still has one hand, and I have quite an appetite, so we can handle that. Let's go talk to your lizard friend.
Dragon.
Dragon. The small iguana.
What's an iguana?
I'm going to take you to the pet store later, and I think it's really going to blow your mind.
Oh, Lord.
And so they make their way with Marcia either in a more reasonable state of dress. Or
I'm listening. Keep going.
A giant thing of coffee out to the Circle Forest, Circle Wood.
You were once again met with that like sense of like foreboding that that you've had every time you go through and muscle your way through. I don't remember. Were you one of the ones who got the little card?
We are both the two individuals who have the invitation.
Okay. So yeah, once you step in, that feeling goes away immediately since you've been invited. As you move past like the outer ring, you start to smell something. It's from further inside the woods, but still the scent is there, but faint. So go ahead and roll me perception alertness, and I'll tell you what that smell is.
Okay.
Totally nothing sinister, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, bizarre smells are never a bad thing in a game or a narrative.
2 successes.
Nope.
That's not how you roll.
But damn, you could.
Yeah,
510 successes.
So.
Holy shit.
1 success.
Okay. It is the scent of like burning wood. The faintest, like almost sickly sweet smell.
Great. I've been camping. I know. Marcia kind of wrinkles her nose a little bit and starts to pay more attention. Like,
yeah.
Not that she hasn't been paying attention walking through, but like, for better or worse, she kind of cares what happens to this kid. So she's like keeping an eye out, and she's got a little of her she's not totally walking like a ditzy human stumbling through the woods anymore. She's got a little of her red cap swagger going, even though hers is a more subtle swag.
Yes.
That's 4 successes on stealth if nimble applies. Otherwise, it's only 3. But Patrick, you know, his curiosity gets the better of him about that smoke. And he's starting to sneak up on where it's coming from.
Your journey leads you just slightly off center as you move deeper into the woods towards that trod. And as soon as you get to where the trod should be, you know where you smell the smoke from. because the trees around it are all charred black, hints of white where it burned even further. And that sickly sweet smell is the scent of burning glamour. What was once a perpetually open portal is now a dwindling hole, roughly the size of a softball, crackling with purplish green flames.
Marcia steps up, not blocking Patrick's line of sight or anything, but she's doing that paternal step thing where she gets maternal step, whatever, where she gets a little in front of. She's not quite throwing the arm across the car seat, but she's like ready to do it. Is there anything that she like that I can see that is like a cause for it or a way to douse it, like or a way to, I don't know, would I know anything about
what's your gray mare score?
Nothing.
Actually, would you like me to roll?
It's 1.
Well, I have actually 2 gray mare. Would you like me to roll that?
Go ahead.
Let's see if Patrick can figure this out. Wow, Patrick, you're on fire. 3 successes.
Jeez Louise.
Is it just gray mare?
It's intelligence or perception gray mare.
Let's see what would be best for me. Oh, same thing.
It's all the same. Only the names have changed every day.
Oh, shit. Goddamn typos are just killing me today. Nope.
Nope.
Patrick, the kid, takes charge.
She thinks she knows, but she's super wrong.
It's this fire isn't like lit from a match or anything like that. This is somebody else's magic working, and you would either need to get the person who ignited it to put it out, or have some knowledge about this kind of magic to put it out.
Can I hear anything in the woods?
Nope. For the first time, actually. Because it's usually filled with chittering of some sort.
So, to clarify on my thing, this little burning fire isn't like the remains of the portal.
It is. It's burning it away. It is like it's like the best way to describe it is a curse that is burning and using that portal that trod as fuel. It was a very powerful trod. That's why it was able to stay open all this time. And now it has been reduced.
Sorry, guys. I did it.
You did it. You did it. So I know I'm going to do something very glamour heavy. But it's Patrick, and he's the boy who can do anything. So he goes up to this trod, it's burning away and stuff like that, and he sees it, and he sees the fire, and he cups his hands around, like underneath it, like it's like it's this thing, and he sort of frowns at it because it's confusing for a moment. Like you do breathe onto coals and stuff like that. And he just takes deep breaths, and he's doing this for a full minute or so as he's doing this, trying to breathe life into it, not realizing you need kindling or anything like that. But the kindling is glamour as he starts just feeding his own glamour into it, as he just starts feeding it the magic that he knows is with him he may not know the name for spring, but it's just his belief that he knows that if he breathes on this fire will, ignite, that this portal will open up once again, so to speak.
Okay.
You want me to roll?
I'll give that a -2, and because of where you are, that's an extra -1.
So
'Cause it's
three
a
diff
glaive.
3.
Yeah.
And how high of Fey do I need for that? Just out of curiosity.
For the portal, probably 3.
3. Oh well, I'm perfect then. I can use. I don't need any extra glamour on that. So, I'm actually going to, you know what? I'll actually take a nightmare dot. Well, you know what? I will make 3 of those dice nightmare to reduce it by additional 1.
Okay.
Question, because I haven't really used it before. Could my magic knife be of any help here?
The neuromancy. You could, in theory, open up a portal where it is.
But I couldn't like cut this one more open.
Let me double check. Because it's a neuromancy 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll wait for you to make that decision before I make my roll.
Sorry.
Because you never know. No. If we can teamwork this thing back open, it'll be great.
I don't have a neuromancy committed to memory. I should be fired as an ST.
Never.
But then
even if it won't work, like she might try it anyway when she sees that Patrick is trying to do this. Just because I feel like Marcia doesn't trust that they're alone in the woods right now, and she wants to try to get whatever he wants to try done as fast as she can before they can get out of there.
Diff 4, thanks to that. Sorry, I'm just making sure I have all this stuff prepared. And I'm making that the last 3 dice are nightmare dice.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if I gain any nightmare from this.
Okay. If you roll me your glamour, and then roll me your dex melee, we'll see.
Me?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna roll my thing now.
Am I supposed to have dots in that? Because there's a 2 on it.
3 successes.
For yours? Okay. Double check. For spring, what, 2, right? 3?
I think it's 3 to heal the portal back up.
Okay.
I mean, it might even be 1 to inspire it to suddenly be whole again. I mean, it's up to you on that one. Either one of those work.
I feel like it should be up to you. Since it's your magic.
It's true. Well, I'm trying to make it grow. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make it grow back to being full and big again.
Okay.
But let me look at spring, and we can determine which one works better as far as that's concerned. I was being more narrative on this anyway. Awaken, new life, a spring sprouting seed system. Awaken gives new energy to the target as determined by the realm. Anything that is dormant or frozen will return. Anything barren or void becomes the home of a new spark of life. The specific effect depends entirely on the realm used in the context when cast, but Awaken's primary function is to rouse anything inert. The number of successes determines how powerful the effect. 1 success would be enough to start an old rusting car, while 5 successes might counter the effects of stasis. Or well of life, which basically for the entire scene, it heals it continuously.
I guess it would be awaken. And let's see, for 3 successes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The fire goes out and it begins to broaden.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to take about 2 successes to put out the fire and 1 to start it growing again. Mm-hmm. It's roughly the size of like a beach ball now, but it's not on fire anymore.
Yep. Well, Patrick's satisfied because it's going to grow again, and yeah.
So on my sheet, I have a number 2 written next to melee, but none of the dots are.
Yeah, you should have 2 in there.
That's what I thought. This might just be a wonky version of it, but okay. So glamour, dexterity, and melee.
And no 10s were rolled, so I don't get any nightmare dice.
Woot.
Nope.
And it was chimerical, so I didn't have to spend glamour.
Jesus.
Magic!
1, 2, 3. I mean, I guess it depends on the difficulty.
Oh, did you
level,
add them? Oh, did you add them all together? Or is that your dex melee score is 9
No,
dice?
no. My dex melee is 5, but my glamour is 4.
Okay, so I guess the first 4 would be your glamour. It's
Works
2.
for me. I don't know how this works. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, you didn't have to add them all together. No. So your first
We
4.
did it! We did it, Patrick! We saved the city!
We saved the cheerleader. We saved the world.
Okay, and so let's see how many successes are in after that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Damn, that's a lot of successes. Okay, let me see how Neuromancy's portal passage.
Think of a thought, any merry little thought. Take that, Belladonna. Hope we'll still survive. We can fly, we can fly, we can fly.
Now I've got to, if you're blue and you don't know where to go, why don't you go where fashion sits? No,
oh Lord. Okay. Yeah, with a swing of your blade, it's not a beautiful portal, but it is because it's cut open as opposed to formed open, but it does widen the thing with a sort of torn appearance. Inside, you can see that there are further repairs being made in this eldritch suburb. There's chaos and havoc. More burning, more ashes.
I want to look around where we are and see if I can see any, I don't know what the weather's like right now, but
snowy.
Excellent. Are there tracks other than ours leading to or from here? Is there anything at all that seems
there's signs actually
I'll roll for it.
Yeah, perception, alertness, or investigation.
I'm gonna roll curiosity because my willpower here real fast, because if I don't, I might just jump into the portal to see what's going on the other side. Okay, I made it. I can resist for now.
It's one success.
Yeah.
Okay. You notice a couple of broken branches leading off towards the center of the forest.
Would that be the way that we came?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's where Ted is.
Oh, shit. So Marcia sees these branches and she thinks for a minute. And she looks at Patrick and she says, I know it's not really in your nature, but we're friends, right? Even though I'm a grown-up? I'm not English or anything.
Oh, you're not grown up. You're not that grown up.
Thank you. And you like to do nice things for your friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So will you make me a pinky promise? And you understand that a pinky promise is unbreakable. I'll tell you what it is before you make it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should go check on Ted. But if you see anyone who looks like Hook or looks like they might work for Hook, I want you and Bella to run away as fast as you can. I'll be fine, but I can't run as fast as you can. So you need to lead that charge. as a favor to me. Because we're friends.
He sort of frowns at that one as he thinks.
And then you can come in and stage a daring rescue for me later.
He sort of brightens up at that and sort of nods. Okay, pinky promise.
Boom, pinky promise.
Making promises with adults, Peter, bad form. Anyway.
At least I didn't lock you into a fucking magical, like,
Contract.
if you
Yeah,
don't
at least
do
you
it,
didn't actually do a contract on him because, good lord.
I don't think
Yeah.
I can anyway. I don't have that magic.
Yeah.
Charles is just shaking his head somewhere.
Actually, hold on. How does naming work?
Naming? Oh no, don't do that. That's with everyone.
Well, no,
naming. Everyone and their mother has naming now. I set the trend.
I didn't build this character. This was built for me. I don't even know what naming does. But I did technically name us friends. And I don't know what I want to do with that. But it seems important.
If you want to roll naming and Fae together, you can nickname each other friends with a difficulty reduction of with the pinky promise, that's 1, and the forest, it's 2. So it'll be a difficulty 6.
What does it do?
Well,
what will I have done?
Well, first of all, can she do that? What's her naming at?
What's your naming at 2? Then yes, she can do nickname.
Okay, cool. I was just making sure.
It alters perception for a certain amount of time so that, yes, the world recognizes the reality of what you have stated.
Yep, they're friends.
That actually will work out in my favor if I need it to, so awesome.
Yes.
And I don't think that it will fuck you over, so win-win-win.
Yes.
Let me roll this and see how it goes.
Okay.
That depends.
Maybe
How
not
responsible do I have to be for my friend?
Well, basically, like, I'm hoping that it will just convince, if we do run into trouble, it will convince, like, whoever the trouble is coming from that I am somehow important to you, and that might be enough to get them to focus on me while I'm like, I'm big and clumsy. Come get me.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat you.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
1 success. So for a scene.
Yep. Which is good. That's all we needed.
That's all I need it for.
Finally, somebody's naming Michael's characters.
Yay! I get to feel it. So yes, friends. Which honestly, I don't think I have to act too different.
So after that, Marcia looks at him and she does the kind of like over dramatic TV military gesture thing. You know what I mean? Like not actual military gestures, but she's like, shh, and kind of starts leading the way.
For this scene, any of your social roles that you have to make against Patrick are normal as opposed to suffering the red cap difficulty.
Yeah.
And Patrick gets even more. Oh no.
All right.
Okay.
Following the leader.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I even have natural leaders, so it's going to be like.
All right, kids.
What do you mean it's diff 1? I'm just kidding. No.
So we make our way towards Ted's.
All right. Yeah. As you continue on, you notice it's silent, and while there's still that's like the glamorous flora. A lot of it is damaged. It's kicked over or just plucked from the ground and therefore kind of wilting and diminishing. And as you get to where Ted's house should be, what you instead see is a wall of scales. It's roughly about 10 feet up. Curling around something with a slight movement of breathing.
Marcia, with her, I would imagine she kept the dagger out because it's the only weapon she has on her regularly anymore. So they come up to this wall, and I'm sure she doesn't really recognize it for what it is at first. Like, I'm sure it takes her a minute to be like, oh. And she kind of stops and does that, like, and she just says, I regret calling you a lizard.
Ted, you're huge.
Are you all right?
You just hear sort of a low grumble shake the ground, a growl.
Do you want to try to find his head? You go that way, I'll go this way, meet in the middle?
Yep, sure. And he's off.
Yeah.
Ted
starts walking.
Yeah. He's curled into a circle. So what you guys are going to end up doing is you're walking and you will meet where his tail meets his head.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was picturing. Just in case, you never know. You know.
Ted, you're so awesome.
Just sort of opens one eye and closes it again and just sort of buries his head further into himself, kind of closing the circle a little bit more. You notice that there's actual damage to some of his scales.
Ted? And Patrick's like, he not afraid. Just like putting his hands on his scales and he's seeing it's like, Ted, you're hurt.
Just except much larger because giant dragon.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, I'm trying to see what all my fucking magic shit does because I never remember to use it, and this seems like a prudent time to dip into that well.
Patrick's sort of staring there, and he's like looking at Ted, and Ted's hurt and everything like that. And he gets an idea in his head, and he sort of stands back and he puts his fists on his hips, and he sort of looks at Ted, and he's like, and for him, this is a game. For him, this is how he believes he's going to help Ted and make Ted, because Ted's a dragon. Ted's a big, strong dragon. Even hurt, he's a dragon. And a dragon, no matter what, there's always tales about knights fighting dragons and knights triumphing over them. But what if the dragon triumphs? And so Patrick pulls out his sword and he points it at Ted and he goes, I challenge thee, dragon! Come at me!
Ted opens his eye and looks at Patrick again, slowly turns his head and focuses that gigantic skull at this small boy. Like, small enough to be stuck in his teeth level small at this.
And Patrick, of course, even though despite the size and everything, fearlessness, and besides, for him, this is a game.
He slowly raises one hand, paw, claw, whatever it is, talons, and you notice it's also wounded.
Or I have tea.
What? Sorry. Oh, that's Marcia. I was like, what?
Oh, come on. He has to beat me.
Roll perception alertness to notice a small detail on this hand.
Oh, I understand what's happening now. Out of character, not. One success.
One success. You see something white stuck in the paw. Patrick?
Oh, okay. Nope.
You know,
he is stuck in the narrative of what he's doing.
How high up is his paw off the ground?
House size.
Okay.
There's someone who can help you fly.
Marcia says, has no one ever talked to you about nail shit? Let me see that foot. If you're going to engage in a battle, you can't do it not looking your best. What kind of dragon would show his face looking subpar for something like this? And she's going to use her passive...
I'm trying to make him feel strong again.
She's going to use her passive aggression. Well, and that frequently starts with self-confidence, which is all about looking your best. So I will take that foot for just a moment. Thank you. And she's going to try to passive aggressive him into putting his foot down where she can reach it.
Okay. Manipulation, intimidation, I guess is the mix there.
Do I get the passive aggression?
Yes.
Thing?
Yes.
Yep. And of course your red cap intimidation too. So it's like dip 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just rolled the number of dots, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't remember how like added stuff works.
What do I roll? What do I do?
Yeah.
I never use all my shit.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. Like,
wow. Made to make Ted feel bad. Jesus.
So this like giant dragon like lowers his head and then
oh, you made him feel bad. He was supposed to fight me.
He'll fight you in a minute. Just hold on.
And reaches his claw out to you. And now that it's closer, you see that white small object sticking in his damaged claw, whatever, is a feather. A long, white, immaculate, shining feather.
Oh, great. Marcia says, this won't take but a second, and she sort of scrambles up onto his foot to where she can reach it, and she says she hesitates before she grabs it, like she is sure that it's tender, and she says, all right, it's gonna hurt for a second, but it'll be over quick. I'm gonna do it on the count of 3. Are you ready? 1, pull.
As you do that, roll me Dex Athletics, because he's going to yank his hand, and that is your recovery.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Marcia's a boss.
Coming in clutch.
Like you anticipated, like you felt his, as soon as you pulled it out, you leapt and land gracefully, like feather held up, that sort of thing. But he like shakes his hand, and as he does, like the damage actually starts to finally fade off of his claw rather rapidly, as does the damage to his scales.
Marcia stands up and she kind of flips her hair a little bit, like a just, not like a but like a setting herself to rights. And she's gonna tuck the feather into like her coat pocket, and she says, "Sorry about the pretense." And she looks at Patrick and she says, "Carry on," and steps back.
He's just like, he's looking at him as he's watching this happening, and it's like, yeah, I did a good job. He says as he puts his sword away, satisfied with his hard work done.
We have got to get you reading more fairy tales.
And he like looks at his claws and like brings them in and goes like looks at the two of you again and just kind of goes back to his sulking.
Oh, Ted. I'm sorry, I didn't mean. I was trying to help you. He says as he pats the scales that are rapidly healing and stuff like that. I was trying to heal you up. Trying to make you feel good about yourself again.
You should feel pretty good, darling. You're quite excellent, I have to say. I mean, you were great before, but this is just impressive. And I am not easily impressed.
Are you talking to Patrick?
No, he's talking to Ted.
Oh. He once again looks at both of you and just kind of looks out at the empty forest. And he kind of slowly uncurls himself a bit. And you see his house in splinters. This tiny little dollhouse that he had used as his home. And sitting beside the splinters are the few survivors. The Marble Eater, his wife, another strange-looking creature with eyes the size of saucers and a head the size of something not quite saucer-sized. So, they just sort of peer and sort of shake in that nervous, small animal way. And satisfied that he's shown you what he's protecting, he curls himself up again, walling what he guards with himself.
What happened? He says, Patrick wants to go to the house, but of course he covers up over it. It's like, hey, I'm going to rebuild that. I can rebuild that.
Yeah, Marcia is on her phone. I'll explain later. But she like blatantly pulls it out and is like doing something.
I can fix it, I promise.
And finally Ted just picks up his giant head again, and gone is that little needly voice. You can't fix this, he says, and it's a low baritone sound.
Yes, I can. I fixed a portal just 5 minutes ago. I can fix a house.
Or we could have a brand new one delivered with same-day shipping, Marcia says as she's scrolling through her phone. She's on Amazon.
Oh, God. Get him a Barbie dream house. It'll be fine. It's fine. And he sort of just shakes his head. He's like, it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it'd be even better. Because I did it. I'd make it.
Not safe anymore.
Well, keeping things the same can be so dreary. Maybe you need a little time to think about what your next steps are, and you can do that here like a big cinnamon bun. Or I do have plenty of guest room. You'll have to sort of suck it in a bit to make it work, but it is a bit more defensible at the moment than it seems like this is. We did fix the portal, sort of. I might have made it worse. I don't know. I'm not really sure how all this works, I'll be honest.
He just sort of tilts that head as he sort of examines Marcia. Smaller won't keep them safe.
I mean, that depends on whether you're going for brute force or stealth or speed. And moving to a more defensible location, you could stay in the yard if you wanted to, I guess. Yes, Bella.
He turns his head towards the chiming of Bella.
As she goes flying off for a moment before she comes back.
What does she say?
She wants to know what happened.
Emma happened.
What do you mean?
Something like that.
Patrick, who has botched his fucking role, still doesn't get it.
Marcia pulls that feather back out and she looks at it for a second, and she looks at Patrick, and she says, I think our friend Emma has somewhat sharper edges these days than we're used to seeing her with.
He's looking at that. I think, the fact that came out of Ted's thing and seeing that, maybe Patrick might be able to put 2 and 2 to fucking together.
Perception, empathy? I don't know.
He only has 2 dice on that. Diff 7, so let's see. Let's see if he can figure it out. Patrick, you finally are getting it!
Oh, Lord.
My God! Finally, the pieces are coming together, and he's looking at that. And there's just this, his face is just completely, in shock. For a moment, as he's looking at this feather. He's like, that's not... Emma wouldn't do something like that.
I think Emma has been, for lack of a better word, hypnotized by the English.
She's like soda. I get it now. I get it. I understand what the soda was all about. She's gone. And he's sort of staring at the feather, and he takes it from Marcia for a moment. He's looking at it. She did this.
Well, maybe. I don't know that she... I'm not convinced it's really her in there still. And there's a lot of questions raised by, wondering what you're responsible for when you're not in control of your body. And I think the person who is in charge of it right now is not a very kind person.
He's looking at the feather, and he's looking at it, and he's like, and he looks at, and he's thinking about the portal. He's thinking about the trick that was played, that cruel trick that caused him to be separated from his shadow. And even his shadow is over there, imposed against Ted's body and sort of nodding. So, you're finally getting it, kid. You're putting it together.
His shadow's smarter than him.
That seems accurate to the film, I'm just saying.
Hey, the shadow doesn't have the responsibility of having to be young forever. So...
What's the matter, pancake? Come here.
And he's looking at this feather, and he's looking at that, and he sees Ted. She's like, no. Whoever's in there is a pirate.
Accurate.
So it's his fists on his hips. They're not going to hurt this forest anymore. I won't let them.
I suppose we could insist upon some sort of neighborhood watch. I'm not sure what good it will do.
This place was full of life before. It's full of wonder and dreams and hope and children's laughter. As his voice starts echoing across the way. And it's all quiet in there. Come on, everyone, laugh! Come on! We're gonna make it full of laughter once again. Sorry, I know that sounds strange, but he's a little more wild and crazy than I'm being it for.
No, you're good. Marcia doesn't laugh.
I got it! I got the ST to laugh. Perfect! My plan is working.
I mean, I laugh at everything awkward. Usually I can mute it.
Yeah. But that's Patrick spring 3ing this entire forest.
I mean, it's
or the chimerical reality of the forest, just so I'm I'm clear.
Okay, spring 3, you're trying to make it a healing well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not quite sure how that I mean, the Chimera are dead, so you'd need like Spring 5 to bring them back for a day. But you can
those that are
reinvigorate the plants.
It can reinvigorate a lot of things. I mean, it could heal Ted's house. It could heal the Chimera that are there. It could heal the Chimera that are hiding but not, you know, unable to reach and stuff like that. So,
all right, I'll give it a 2.
Okay, 2. Let's see how it goes. I'll also spend Nightmare. I'll also do the Nightmare thing again. So through diff 3, so diff 5 on this.
Okay.
2 successes. So for the next, So for the next hour, the entire forest and the chimerical reality is healing away.
And the first things you'll notice is like plants like sort of like reset their roots and start to bloom again. The house, it's still a splintered thing, but like you hear the sound of like the wood kind of moving against itself a little bit.
Who knows? It might heal itself in the next hour. We'll see.
So, but yeah, but Ted still stays in that sort of like donut of protection for the 3 surviving Chimera.
Marcia looks a little uncomfortable when everything starts like moving and growing and doing its own thing of its own free will around her.
See? I told you.
And she looks at Ted and she says 2 things. First, the invitation stands if ever you should need it, or anyone you trust. And secondly, was Emma alone?
He just gives a very slow nod. She can do a lot of damage.
Oh, clearly. Did she seem like she was heading anywhere in particular when she left?
Up.
Great. Awesome. I'm so glad I came back from vacation. And she takes a really long drink from the carafe that she's carrying with her. Like it's like a tumbler that's like this big.
So everyone in contact with the forest is healing. Yeah, lethal damage.
You'll hear sort of like chittering sound as like the marble eater kind of scurries over one of Ted's limbs, and he's just kind of making like kind of vague croaking sound, like which nobody here except for Ted understands, and possibly Bella.
Not even his wife.
Not even his wife.
Well, it is the language of imaginary friends.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he'll sort of like croak at Bella for a bit, and and he like produces a marble from his mouth. Another marble from his mouth, and he hands them over to Bella. They're probably much bigger than her.
they are huge. Yes, Patrick to grab them, and Patrick grabs them, and he's sort of staring at for a moment as she explains what the marble eater was saying.
According to Bella, this fucking idiot says.
I love you, Bella. And she was full of foul language in the book.
You silly ass.
Silly ass.
This fucking idiot says that you might want to stock up on marbles. I don't know what they do. He says something about takes you someplace safe. He says it's marbles that saved him and his wife. I don't know what.
Any particular kind or color? Can I hear this?
Yeah, no, Patrick's translating.
Yeah.
In which he's cursing. He's like, he says this fucking idiot.
Marcia doesn't even blink. She's like, okay.
No, he says you have to eat his marbles. And for a second, I was going to slap him because what kind of fucking asshole says, you know, who you need to eat my marbles? And as soon as I was getting ready to freaking knock him into next week, he produces these stupid balls from his mouth. Well, how many balls do you have in your mouth on a regular basis? Huh?
Marcia kind of, as Patrick is like verbatim sharing this, Marcia narrows her eyes at Bella a little bit and she starts wagging a finger and she just says, I like you. I like you a lot. I'm gonna have to take a language course or something because this is good.
But yeah, he says one of these is for you. He says as he hands out one of the marbles.
It smells vaguely like citrusy. It is.
I've eaten worse.
Yeah, it's bright orange. And it smells like it would taste good, even though he did produce it from his mouth.
Marcia puts it in her pocket and she kind of she holds a hand out to Patrick and says, may I? And kind of gestures to the feather.
And he hands it back.
Tucks it away. And
she
wags.
Everyone perceives us as friends. So Ted sees us as friends. And same with the Marvel guy and everyone sees us as friends. This is great.
Oh. Hey! I did it! I don't know how this shit works.
Naming! It's amazing!
That's how Marcia and I are the same. Marcia turns her phone around and wags it at Ted and says, seriously though, same day shipping. Think about it. And then slides the phone into her pocket too.
Ted just kind of like looks sadly at the house. And says, this dollhouse belonged to the one who made me.
I could try to fix it. And I have to say, I don't know what it's like to live an existence like yours, but, you know, as strong as the belief that birthed you can be, what I have learned in my life is that equally strong can be the belief in the people that you meet along the way. So maybe it's worth having a little more faith in the people who believe in you now.
Faith and trust in pixie dust.
Ted just kind of looks between the two very fast-talking fae.
We're here for you, darling. That's all I'm saying.
And besides, your house is starting to rebuild itself.
He just kind of looks over at it. It's like the patio is repaired and the rest of it's like slowly kind of sliding into place, trying to find where it goes because it was mostly splintered wood. It's a slower fix.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be mostly fixed by the end of the hour. So.
But he just sort of looks and he like with a heavy sigh, he kind of looks at the other survivors and he just sort of like rolls his huge shoulders back and shakes. And as he shakes, he sort of diminishes in size. I appreciate what you're trying to do. Really, I do.
That's what friends are for.
But you see, this was my home. She gave it to me before her hair went white, before her eyes went gray. She told me, be strong, Ted. Take care of people, Ted. And always have your tea at noon. And then she took this dollhouse and she brought it here to the woods. She did a dance in a circle and planted seeds. And those seeds grew into a protective forest. And that was the last time I saw my girl again. But this is the place where those who've been abandoned, those who've been forgotten, have been safe. They've been safe ever since my girl brought my house here. Since she left me here. I don't know who brought that girl. Who left her. But she can get in now. And she can see us. And she can see you. And as long as she can see, none of us are safe.
Well, Ted, I think that is a defeatist perspective. You today, just today, helped people, and you kept them safe, and you succeeded, and you survived. And I don't think that the safety was tied to the forest all the time. I think it's tied to you. And it hurts when things change, especially when they change when we don't want them to. I am intimately familiar with that pain, but you have risen to the challenge admirably, and I think you need to give yourself a little bit more credit and the memory of your girl a little bit more credit, because she helped you become this. And you can stay this. You can make these people safe. You did make these people safe, and you can continue to keep them safe. You can do it here. You can do it elsewhere. What's important is that you are doing it.
And I believe in you. That's why your house is being built again. Because I believe. Because I believe in your house, in your noontime tea, in your little circle of dancing.
As you say noontime tea, he looks kind of dejected again. She took my teapot.
She did? Well, I'll get it back. As he puts his fists on his hips.
And in the meantime, if you don't want to stay, I do have a kettle. Probably more than one, frankly. I don't know what all is in my house. And you're welcome to use it at noon or whatever hour you like.
It's much appreciated, ma'am. And he looks at his little house as it's like slowly being rebuilt. The pillars finally up and the windows trying to sort of sort themselves back into panes of glass. And then he looks at the other survivors. I think it's best we stay here, though. Once your people don't remember you anymore, it's rough going for you out there. And he looks up at Bella, and you, Miss Bella. Well, you're one of the lucky ones, aren't you? Clap of the hands is all it takes. Yeah. Sort of just gives like a little defeated shrug on his little tiny shoulders. And I'm sorry I have a defeatist attitude, but you've suffered quite a crushing blow. I don't. No, clapping won't bring them back. Not the way she killed them.
Well,
How did she kill them? That's the question.
She cut them up and ate them.
Oh, gross. That happens in character.
Yeah, even Patrick's like going like, this is a pirate.
And
Finally, Patrick, Jesus fucking Christ, it took you this long.
Marcia looks a little chagrined, and she says, I hope you understand I didn't say any of that as an admonishment. I understand why. And I know that help is beyond the reach of certain of the people that you are looking after, but there exists help for the remaining. And she looks down for a second and she says, memory. So, Ted, I know. Mr. Marble Eater. Does your wife have her own thing? Like, she basically is asking after who all the rest of these imaginary creatures are so she can commit them to memory.
Marble Eater kind of croaks a bit, and Ted, his wife is Mrs. Marble Eater. She took his last name. And this gentleman here, and the creature with eyes way too big for its head and like little spindly ears, like tiny, like almost rabbit-esque ears, except
yeah,
too small to be cute. Just kind of go back, and this is the left sock eater.
So that's where my left socks have been going.
And
here he says as he Patrick takes off his shoe and he takes off one of the socks. He's recently stolen this one and tosses it to the guy.
And he opens his mouth and just like eagerly stuffs the whole sock in his mouth and just sort of like sucks on it instead of just like. He's got like the bulldog lower jaw thing or something.
Yeah. A big underbite.
Yeah.
It is a pleasure. The invitation extends to all of you as well. I only ask that you do not break my windows. Really, that's it. They've been broken quite enough this year.
I think we've hit twice so far.
Yeah.
We've only got one left for it to be comedic. Afterwards, it's overkill. Rule of 3.
Yes. And we'll see what we can do about the rest. Not really much for all of this sort of magic-y stuff, but when in Rome, and I seem to have made the acquaintance, and she gestures to Patrick and she says, of a premier Roman general. So here I am.
I'm a centurion?
Sure. That's like one of those horse guys, right?
Yeah, they lead like a legion of 100 or so.
Whatever, they're all half horse. It's fine.
Awesome! I need centaurs.
No.
Ted, do you know where any centaurs are?
I think they're with rhinoceri these days.
Really? Okay, I'll go find some rhinoceroses. Out of character. I know what you did there.
What?
And she looks back and says, I know one person's memory is not a lot, but I am not a particularly forgetful person, so hopefully it will help at least a little bit.
Patrick's actually thinking about that as he says, like, a memory of one person might not be a lot, and he's thinking there for a moment, and he's like, what was the dance she did?
What?
What was the dance she did?
And he does this sort of like awkward, like, and then does kind of like a little pirouette and like prances in like a circle, kind of looking awkward, like,
Yeah.
Eh?
So, hear me out on this one, because this is going to be an abstract concept of what I'm about to do here. So Patrick starts to do what Ted does,
Mm-hmm.
only probably more elegantly, Dex 6 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he starts doing that, and he dances around once, twice, 3 times, and he goes around and he says the things that Ted had said. He may not have seemed to have paid much attention. And as a matter of fact, it might not be the most perfect method of what he was saying. But he's like, "This is your home. This is how you're going to look after people. You're going to protect people." And he says that as he goes around once, twice, and he says this 3 times as he goes around. As he tries to awaken the memory of that girl.
Mm-hmm.
The memory of that moment, a memory of all that things. And even if it's just for a brief moment, even if it's just the ghost of her for just a moment to give that thing, he wants to awaken that memory, that reminder for Ted, that reminder for all of them that this forest is his, for his protection, and that even when she's gone, she still believes in him. That's my bunk for spring 1.
I'll give that a -3 and then add the forest.
So -4. So
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Before, you know what? I've been doing it to do it. I'll do Nightmare one more time. Stop. Wow.
Wow.
I guess 1 success then.
Oh shit. Oh, seriously? Fuck. Sorry.
But still, that's 1 success. That's something.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of something.
Since this forest is laden with magic, even in its current distraught state, perhaps because it's interacting with the other spring magic in the air, you can hear what sounds like a little girl's voice, little older than you, if you had to make a guess, saying, "All right, Ted, I don't want to forget about you, but I'm getting older, and I don't want that to happen to you. So I'm going to set up this place for you and others like you. Keep them safe, Ted. I'm going to make a fairy ring and keep them safe, Ted. Always have your tea at noon, and that will keep them safe, Ted." And then as soon as she says it, like she finishes that third sort of keep them safe, like the voice vanishes away in a slight echo. And what?
Oh, sorry. That was me. that was me, not Patrick. But
Okay.
Sorry, it was always have your tea at noon. I was just like, oh no. That's why she took the teapot. Anyway.
Yeah.
That bastard.
And Ted sort of, he looks a little more like resolved and less sad, even with his missing teapot. And like a tiny general facing down an enemy that he that outnumbers him, but perhaps does not outwit him. Like a bit of mischievous gleam returns to his eye. "I appreciate your offer to rehome me and my associates here, but I think it would be prudent if we stay put. This is, after all, the place that was set for us. And, after all, it's best to take them on your home turf, home advantage, that sort of thing. And now that we know she's here and that she can see us, well, next time we won't be taken by surprise.
And you don't have to have your teapot in order to have tea at noon, Ted. I gave roast she to some redcaps just a while ago.
Ted just turns
without
any
fucking context whatsoever.
He turns to Marcia and he's like, "How goes bringing the boy up?"
It's not so much bringing the boy up as catching up to him afterward.
Yeah, no one can catch me.
But he makes a good point. Except that he made a good point, and then he sort of followed it up with something that I'm gonna just not think about in the future. But would it be possible? Would it count if, say, I would love to host a tea service for you here, if you would prefer it here at noon tomorrow. Get back in the swing of things, as it were, and, you know, have your tea.
And he like neatens up his little whiskers and gives Marcia a bow. And he's like, "I would be honored to have you for tea."
She curtsies. She's got a lot of etiquette points, so she curtsies pretty nice.
He gives her like a smile with his little pointy lizard teeth. "Thank you for all of your help, both of you. But I think it's time that we fix up Mr. and Mrs. Marble Eater's place. What do you guys say?" And there's sounds of like the croaking from the Marble Eaters, and then just like a from the sock sucker.
Oh, that should be being fixed too.
You're kind of stealing my thunder here.
He's just like,
there is no
I was fixing everything.
There's no fix better than getting your hands on it, though. So, Godspeed.
Patrick's like looking at the house, you know, that's building itself because he's believing enough. He's just like, I don't know about that. I believed enough. It's working.
There's a certain reward to making things with your own two hands.
He points at Mercy. He's like, "The lady speak true."
I don't know. That seems like a lot of work.
It is.
That seems
and that's
boring.
why it's rewarding. Oh, it can be. It depends. Anyway, I hope your afternoon goes significantly better than your morning. And we'll see you tomorrow.
He gives a nod. And yeah, there's the like that awkward silence is like, you make your exit in the same direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh.
So, how about them Yankees? Yeah.
I think this
See,
is
I told you, as Patrick says, as the Marble Eater's door is starting to piece itself together. I told you it was fixing itself.
Well, then I guess it's time for renovations.
What's a denovation?
Ask Bella. Says and just.
The stupid fuck thinks that he knows what you're going to understand what a reservation. A renovation is what you do in order to get into a elite restaurant. But
this is fucking.
Do they serve
subtle.
marbles?
This crew.
This is Scuttle and the Fork Comb all over again. Dingle Hopper or whatever he calls it.
So, yeah, it's he like veers off to the side to like move furniture or something.
Yeah. Well, before it goes, because Patrick's particularly friendly because friends.
Mhm.
He's gonna give each one of them a hug, and he's gonna say as he squeezes them all tight, he whispers to each of them, "I believe in you."
That's very sweet of you, Patrick. And then croaks and sock sucking sounds.
Marcia gives a little, just a polite, head nod as they're kind of gearing up to go. And as she's sort of walking away, she turns and says, just, if we come across it, what kind of teapot was your teapot? I recall seeing it last time, but I just want to be sure I'm remembering right.
It's very thin china. Like if you hold it up to the light, you can actually start to see the light shine through. And as the light shines through, you'll see a subtle design of 4-leaf clovers along the inside of it.
I'll keep an eye out for it.
Thank you. And he kind of closes the door behind him as he heads into the Marble Eater's dwelling to do some superfluous redecorating.
As they're walking out of the forest, Patrick's got a frown on his face, because, all this stuff, all the hope and everything he's giving, there's still something, that seriousness of a child as he's looking over there is like, why'd she become a pirate?
I don't think she was given much choice in the matter.
That's why they keep saying that, she's not herself anymore, but there's got to be Emma in there.
Well, and I think that we need to get her out so that she can make the choice.
And how we do that?
I don't think I'm enough of a grown-up to know.
That's right. You're not a grown-up. Besides, who needs grown-ups anyway?
We're not good for altogether much, it seems. At least in certain circumstances. I think we need to do a little research and maybe ask some of our friends for their input. But first, we need to swing by the mall.
Why?
Oh, there are some shops there that I think we should visit before tomorrow noon.
Gonna swing by Tivana or something?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I want to swing my sword around a little bit more. Do you think I could do that at the mall?
No, Patrick.
You? Probably. There's only one way to find out, and frankly, entertainment.
Not the weirdest thing that happens in a Texas mall, if we're being quite honest.
But this is a New Hampshire mall.
New Hampshire, fuck, you're screwed. I was just thinking, like, Rebecca and I both live in Texas.
Patrick going to the sword store in the fucking mall, the fucking New Hampshire mall, is like, yeah, these aren't anywhere near as cool as mine.
Man, there's a fucking ice rink at the bottom of the Galleria. Whatever.
Oh, I haven't been to the Galleria in ages.
It's really dead now, and like half of it is really sad.
Yeah, it's a mall. Actually, that's the only time I've ever been ice skating in my entire life was at the Galleria. But anyways, we digress. Yes, mall, whatever. Eventually you come home though.
Yes.
And you see Vin's home for the first time since your return. And there, nailed over the front of his doorway, is the disembodied head of Falala.
I botched that roll, so I'm still not going to notice.
What does my magic do?
What is your magic? What do you got?
What magics do you have?
I have naming 2 and I have winter 2.
Now winter makes you steady. But if you want to go closer, you can do a perception kenning.
Sure.
Okay.
She's not gonna go up to the door. She's just gonna kind of wander casually across her own yard.
You have winter too, so you can actually resist Sovereign.
That's useful.
Yeah, especially against who we're dealing with. Anyway.
Perception and Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
Depends.
One. That's a success. Yeah. You hear faintly, "Alas, young queen passing by, if this your mother knew, her heart would break in two."
What is... So Marcia thinks about that for a second, and she turns and walks back toward the front door, kind of where Patrick is doing his thing.
Yeah, Patrick realizing the door is locked is starting to pick it. So
that's fine.
I'm just gonna larceny, sorry.
Marcia doesn't go to help him unlock the door. She just waits for him to pick it.
Yeah, like, he fucking does it in like 2 seconds. It's
beautiful. So as she walks up, she says, "If you were going to have a symbol, like if you were going to have a flag and you were going to put something on it, what would it be?"
Oh gosh, I don't know. He says as he sort of thinks for a moment. Not skulls and crossbones. That's too much like a pirate.
You know what? I have an idea. Hold that thought. So Marcia she strides inside purposefully, and she goes upstairs, and you can distantly hear the sound of like digging around for a second, and the sound of like fabric ripping. And she comes down the stairs, and she's like picking a couple of fibers out of her teeth, and she has a scrap of cloth clutched in her hand. And she digs around again for a second in the like mud room to the garage. And she comes back out, and she's got a hammer in one hand and a nail in the other, and then she's holding a piece of a t-shirt. It's a men's t-shirt, the Lacoste t-shirt, and a big embroidered crocodile that they have on it.
Mm-hmm.
And she walks outside, and she holds it up, and she slams it in, and she nails it to the front of her door. And she looks at it for a second, and she just says, "Mm-hmm." And then she goes inside and closes the door behind her, and she says, "I think that'll work."
Patrick's sort of staring at the crocodile for a moment before it goes in, and he just sort of shrugs and he walks inside.
Is that Patrick's sound effect, or?
Yes, that is.
Okay.
Some part of him starts actually going.
And is there anything else you guys would like to do?
I've got some stuff that'll be good to happen like off screen, or like we can resolve it when other characters are around, because I think it will involve, like, I have some stuff I want to get Dee's help on, and I need to meet everybody else. So.
The cast.
The cast.
Yes.
Yes, please have other scenes beside just Patrick instigating them. I don't mind it, but I want other people to have fun.
I'm sorry, I missed the last one. But yeah,
Michael. All right. Well, then here's what we'll end our scene, and I'll see you guys next time.